Hola, damas y caballeros, Señor Arroz here. Surely by now you've heard some of those words that are, let's just call them Spanglish, some English language words that seem to have crossed over or been kind of absorbed by Spanish. And what comes to mind today are some words that concern technology. You know, some of the technologies that the US has invented, and words like gigabyte have become el gigabyte, el laptop, el keyboard, el RAM, things like this. Yeah, you've heard those words. So it turns out a lot of these words actually have a Spanish language equivalent, a Spanish language translation, and yet, here's the interesting part, despite their Spanish language translation, the English word is actually preferred in many cases because it's either easier to say, it's more comfortable, or maybe it's just outright cooler to use the English word. I'm about to give you some examples of what I mean. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going over a series of words for which the English word, despite there being a Spanish equivalency, the English word is actually preferred. Let's get into it. Damas y caballeros, here are just a few examples of what I was talking about. Here are some technological words that on the left are words in English, and in parentheses are their translations into Spanish. For example, el backup. The translation is la copia de seguridad. El blog. The translation is la bitácora. La tablet. The translation is la tableta. Words that have a Spanish language translation, and yet the English word on the left is actually preferred. Now, whether or not the English word is cooler than the Spanish word, that's for you to decide. But in some of these cases, especially the first one, el backup, I think we can agree that the English version on the left is decidedly shorter and therefore probably easier to say, easier to pronounce, easier to remember. A couple more common examples are el firewall. The translation is el cortafuegos. El smartphone. The translation is el teléfono inteligente. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, coolness is up to you, but el firewall is probably shorter than el cortafuegos. El smartphone is probably shorter than el teléfono inteligente. And therefore, we're beginning to see why sometimes the English version is more popular or more widely used. So, damas y caballeros, these have been just a few examples of especially technology-based words where the English word is actually preferred to its own Spanish translation. But hey, I would love to hear what you think. If you have any other words that come to mind, if you've thought of any where the English version is preferred, any that have been left off my list, I would love to add them to the list. I would love for you to enlighten us beyond this list right here. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Señor Arroz signing off. Gracias por escuchar, gracias por mirar. He dicho.